Restart. Hello, good evening. Welcome to our Throw It to Science Thursday. Do we have anyone that's joining us this evening? If you could give us a thumbs up or comment below, let me know that you're here. We have an exciting call this evening.
Okay, let's go.
All right, awesome. So this evening, we're going to talk about CBD with diabetes and cancer. A lot of you all know we started with CBD early this year and have been part of a company called HempWorks. And it's just been a phenomenal journey. And so my husband and I have been so excited to share with you guys all the things that we're learning about CBD and what's going on in the medical world with CBD. There's just so much exciting things. And so we're just here this evening to share with you. And my husband's bringing all of his amazing knowledge to the table and hopefully bring it in terms that you understand. So if you have any questions, jot them down. We'll answer them as we go. So here is my husband, Rick Gash.
Hello, everybody. Good evening, and thank you for joining us on this call this evening. I am going to start off by claiming that I am not a doctor, so I'm not here to diagnose, treat, or pretend to do any of the above. But I am going to relate to the studies and science that surround CBD and that are really unknown for the most part. In fact, I was very surprised. We're going to share a website with you here pretty soon that shares the medical uses backed by science. There's a website. And one of the, and actually I've had several questions of different indications, but one of them that came up here lately was of type 1 diabetes. And type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease, and it's called pediatric diabetes or juvenile diabetes because most of the time they're born with it or diagnosed at an early age with this. And what that is their pancreases are not able to produce insulin and secrete it in the amount that the body needs in order to operate. So with this study, that goes back, I'll read this to you here. Of the contents of these different studies, ADHD, drug addiction, cannabis dependence, Alzheimer's, Crohn's disease, IBS, depression, type 1, type 2 diabetes, fibromyalgia, cardiac arrhythmia, multiple sclerosis, chemotherapy-induced nausea, osteoporosis, Parkinson's, post-traumatic stress disorder, rheumatoid arthritis, schizophrenia, acne, psoriasis, insomnia, cancer, epilepsy and seizures, antibiotic resistance, heart attacks, traumatic brain injuries, chronic pain, inflammation, hepatitis, ulcerative colitis, general anxiety, social anxiety, obesity, Huntington's disease, migraine, autism, and asthma. And those are just the indications that are supported by studies suggesting that CBD helps to improve it, reverse it, stop it, or even cure it. We're going to talk about some cancer that CBD kills the cells. So have you shared the website with them?
Yes.
Okay, so
I'll throw it up there again. Here's the website that we're talking about there.
And if you can you scroll down on that or not?
I don't think so. It's just sharing that screenshot.
Okay, so you can't go to that. Okay. Well, I'm going to go down and click on the type 1 diabetes. Now, again, we're not saying that this is going to cure or prevent or even make better, and everybody's different. But I know myself, as I have my own study, and we all have heard these. I mean, yeah, my studies N equals 1, but most of us have had our own experiences or heard of somebody else's, so we're already positive about this. But when I read these studies, it showed a positive trend towards making it better. And so that is impressive to me because it means that even though it may not cure something, but if it can make something better, a lot of these disease states, people are searching for options. So I'll just read this real quick. It's very short. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune condition where the beta cells of the pancreas are unable to secrete sufficient insulin to regulate blood sugar. An overactive immune system attacks and damages these beta cells, inhibiting the function of the pancreas and the secretion of insulin, creating the needs for exogenous or external insulin. Amongst its myriad of other qualities, CBD is an immunomodulator, helping the immune system to cool off an inflammation that is damaging the pancreas. That is very interesting. My background is in diabetes, and I was a diabetes specialist for a time for a pharmaceutical company. And to be able to work at the cellular level to do these things is not easily done. And so this is done in the autoimmune version of type 1 diabetes. So it helps the pancreas to produce more insulin. And it also helps to, as I read further into the study, make the cells more sensitive to the insulin as well. So if you know anything about type 2 diabetes, you know there is why that helps that disease state, because it improves insulin sensitivity, which type 2 diabetes is insulin resistance. So again, this is work at the cellular level to make this better. So what does this mean? If I have somebody who's type 1 diabetic, and means they're probably on a pump and maybe taking other oral medications, what it means is you just need to watch them. The pump should be automatically dispensing the insulin that's needed based on the blood glucose that's being reported by it. So it should be fine, but you need to monitor to make sure it's stocked with insulin. But any other medications, they may work better or not work as well. So you just need to monitor them. And the reason why that is CBD is an antagonist, meaning it either makes better or inhibits the response by the cells. And oftentimes that improves homeostasis. And we're going to talk about our next subject is about cancer. And there it works at a cellular level to produce apoptosis. That's a hard word to say. Say that 10 times. Apoptosis. That is the medical term for cell death. So it produces apoptosis leukemia cells. Who knew it? There's studies that show this. In fact, I'm going to go back and read this to you. So there's type 1 diabetes. They showed it. Now, I realize, again, this isn't a big, high-powered pharmaceutical trial. This was done in a lab with mice, which often many times drugs that work to inhibit the human in a way that may make it dangerous oftentimes are used on animals. And diabetes is easy to produce in mice. So that's why they have that, and that's a great one. There's one on depression, and we already know it works chemically in our mind, our brain. So the ability to work on depression without your antidepressants is an option. So let's go here to cancer. Let's see. There it is, right there. So if you have any questions about this link, we can get this link to you. You can also Google it probably for 40 medical uses of CBD. And she can also write it in there as well, which she's going to do. So cancer, a groundbreaking quality of cannabinoids is their influence on their formation and proliferation of cancerous cells. Cannabinoids are thought to have anti-tumor effects through the induction of a process called apoptosis. This is a controlled process by which cells are destroyed. Cannabinoids like CBD help to specifically program the death of cancerous cells. There is also evidence that CBD influences a process called autophagy, a programmed cellular cleansing mechanism which degrades and recycles cellular components. Again, this supports what we know about homeostasis in the body, and that's getting it back to what normal looks like and functioning properly. So there's several studies in here. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'm just going to click on the anti-tumor, and this was done by the Natural Institute of Health, which is a very reputable organization, of course, that medical providers depend on. So this goes on to say that cannabinoids possess anti-tumor properties. So there's a lot of big words. I'm not going to bore you with them. Let me find. So what it showed was that, and it had shown an anti-proliferative effect of on the cells that grow to become cancer. It also shows a correlation of the induction of apoptosis as determined by this analysis that they showed in DNA staining, which showed that it was an antagonist. The cannabinoid was an antagonist. And so that it caused the production that made the apoptosis occur. Again, this is not, we're going to say there's some medical miracle that this is going to go and heal people with cancer. I'm not saying that. But it has shown in certain cancer cells, in the human glioma cell lines, that it's been very effective in killing those cells. There's also another study here that showed apoptosis of leukemia cells. And again, this is why we do this business. I love this. I do think God put us here. My accident, where you can see my head injury here, that accident caused us to even be looking at CBD. And now we're here talking about apoptosis demonstrated in human leukemia cells. And leukemia is often found in children. So here we have something that's natural that God put on this earth, that the side effect is sleep. And it shows all of these great benefits. We'll be talking about more of these benefits on this science call. This has been a great link for me to go and look to find things to support telling people to try CBD with that. And of course, I'm not a doctor, and it's at their own discretion, but so is going to GNC, and so is going to the grocery store. And this is used as a supplement that might just well be the next best thing as far as helping with pain, insomnia, depression. I mean, the list goes on. But cancer, I mean, how many people with cancer or have died of cancer that would have loved to even have just the pain relief, even if it didn't stop the cancer? What if it just stopped the pain from that? And they use all kinds of high-powered drugs that are highly addictive, bad side effects. So again, I'm not trying to convince you because you're here because you believe already in CBD. Again, make sure it's quality CBD that you're using. HempWorks is one of those. And we'll have another discussion on one of our next Thursday calls on more indications. And if there's an indication that you may be interested in hearing about directly, then let us know, and we'll put that at the top of the priority of the list that we talk about. And I'll do my research before we discuss it on the call. So thank you for being on the call with us tonight. And
thank you, guys.
Yeah,
thank you. So, like you said, this business is really, it's just amazing. And the amount of people that just need to be informed or educated on the CBD, and that's really what we're here for, is to provide you guys with the knowledge. If you're interested in purchasing the product, you can visit our website. That's a direct link to purchase the product. If you are looking at this opportunity, it is booming. So my husband would love to talk to you about business. And so visit our business website, pre-enroll. You can get in that pre-enrollment, and they'll allow you to kind of take a look at everything that is going on with this company. There's no obligations to it. So get on there, check it out. If you have any questions, please feel free to message me, or just click on one of the links below, guys, and we'll see you next time. Thanks again. Have a great evening.